Good morning, everybody. This is Tish, just doing what I do. I just came from out in the garden. You'll be seeing that video shortly. I do a walkthrough of picking some produce, my groceries, like Homestead Heart. Picking some of those things, pruning back because we had a little break in the rain because all week we've been raining here. But I also got potatoes done. So I got 2 bags of potatoes done, as you can see in that video, and now it's curing in the garage. So what I'm doing now is got the sweet potatoes that I had got from the sweet potato haul. I did some. Get ready to make sweet potato bread. You'll be seeing that soon. Sweet potato yeast rolls first, and then I'll make some sweet potato the yeast rolls first, and then I'm gonna make the sweet potato turnovers. I bought the puff pastry, so I'm gonna make those so we can have those sweet. And I know I have those sweetness pies in my freezer, as well as be able to be gifted. Also, I got some more sweet potatoes in the sink here, and I'm gonna show you how I wash them and get them prepared, and also some veggies that I got from the garden. Some people in the video said to use salt to any like squash and stuff or anything that bugs could be got in it some kind of way, and to push them out. When I had also heard that wash it with vinegar. So guess what? I put salt and vinegar down in my water to wash off my potatoes, as well as my squash, cucumbers, and peppers, and a little bit of tomatoes I got in here. So I hope, and also while we're doing this, you're going to hear a voice over, let me see, I'm a voiceover, yes. I'm going to do a voice over for the rest of the videos, and I'm going to be watching some of my YouTube gardeners and food preppers and all those, my favorite people. Jane Morrell, I love her stuff anyway. So I'm watching her while I'm drinking some of my mint tea refresher with blueberries, frozen blueberries in it. I didn't pull the tag off the bottom, need to. These bottles right here I got from the Dollar Tree. And I love those little clips and everything else, and they're great for making my refreshers in. So I just made another 8-pack of them and everything else for me. From my mint leaves out in the garden. And also I learned about stevia today and got stevia plants out there. So the next time I make some more, I'm going to boil my stevia leaves with it, so it have the sweetness already in it. Ain't God awesome? And put a pinch of leaf in it if I need to. So I will come from honey in the cane sugar, because I did put 1/4 in a couple of quarts or a gallon of the sugar. But I won't even have to use that anymore if the stevia method works. Yes. So anyway, I'll see you. And let's get to our project. Well, hello again. As you can see, I am in my kitchen. Yes. Getting prepared and getting ready to wash all my produce. Some sweet potatoes and some garden vegetables. What I'm using to scrub and to clean my sweet potatoes is a loofah. I have grown these loofahs last year and used a lot of those for my cleaning. I am loving the loofahs. That this year I am planning have 15 plants out there. Hopefully I'll get some this year, but because of the weather was so cool early on, and now it's warming up real warm and hot down here, I don't have that big growth like it usually be around about this time. But I am prayerfully that I will get some loofahs this year so I can have more sponges and maybe gift some of the loofah sponges to others during the holidays. So I make sure my sweet potatoes are washed and scrubbed. I do have vinegar and salt is inside this water. And these sweet potato was a blessing because I had received these from the sweet potato piled up at a local church near me. and it was get as many as you want. And I had these sweet potatoes, so I said, let me go ahead and get them cleaned up and ready to make this sweet potato yeast rolls. So first thing I do, have to clean them all up, get them all cleaned and ready before I put them in the oven to roast them. Now you could boil your sweet potatoes and then peel them off and have them like that, but I found out when you roast them, you secure all the flavors and everything inside the sweet potatoes, because when you boil them, a lot of that escapes into the water. So I like to bake and roast my potatoes before I use them for any project, even when making sweet potato pies and turnovers. I like to make sure my sweet potatoes are roasted instead of boiled. I found out boiling is okay, but boiling sometimes will release a lot of the good flavor out of the sweet potatoes, I believe. So I'm gonna make sure I get these cleaned up and ready to go into the oven. But I gotta make sure I clean them. I pick all the. Sometimes you have to peel off the pieces that are not good, and just make sure they're real clean, because they was piled up high out there, the sweet potato pile up. If you want to know more about that, you can look at some of the previous videos on when I had went to the sweet potato pile up. I think it was on my Facebook page. Well, anyway, that is what I'm doing at the moment, and I'm gonna keep cleaning and taking care of that. Well, all the sweet potatoes has been washed and cleaned, as well as the produce that all my groceries, the groceries from the garden, has been cleaned as well and put to the side to be put up to be used at a later time. I had some awesome cucumbers and a petty pan squash and a regular squash that I had got out the garden that day. So now I'm going to take the scraps and peels that I got from the sweet potato, and I'm not going to throw it away. I'm going to bag it up and use that for compost, which I will be composting it directly back into my garden. Yes, that's a great thing to do. Don't never throw your scraps away from your produce. You can use it to go right back in your garden. So now we'll give it a quick wash over again and make sure everything is clean and everything, and so it get ready to go into the pan. Now the sweet potatoes are ready to go into the pan to be roasted. But before I do any of that, hey, I have some dishes over in the other sink, and I need to wash these up. I wasn't going to put them in the dishwasher because I'll do that at a later date, because I think I have to offload my dishwasher before I put things in. So since it was a one or two things, I said, let me go ahead and wash these up, get it prepared, because I have a lot more dishes that will be coming in a little bit as I'm continue to work in the kitchen today. So if you see, I am cleaning and taking care and washing as I go to get all my area nice and clean, so for the next round of dirty dishes to come. As you can see, now it's time to layer the sweet potatoes I have washed and cleaned onto onto a parchment paper on my tray. I like to put oil on my sweet potatoes Just a thing I do to help with the flavor as well as the cooking process that when it's in the oven. So I pour some olive oil, extra virgin olive oil over top of them. Now I'm layering it onto the baking rack, so they can be sorted out, just to be layered on there, spread across so they can be able to bake. I believe that all of those sweet potato was not able to go on there, so I had to do two different baking. I think got it on a pan, and I put the rest on the other pan. I'm not for sure. Oh no, see, everything was able to get on. Hey, and now I'm going to use my fork in just a couple minutes, and I'm going to stick holes in it so it can have some air as it's cooking, and it'd be an easier way, be better for it when it's cooking in the oven. That's something I just been told, not told, been taught by my mom as when I was learning to cook when I was younger. It helps with the sweet potato to be cooked. So that's what I do. I do the same thing I have been taught as well. And it has been working over the years. So that's what I'm doing right now. Getting it prepared for the oven so it can roast and be ready. Also, I like to sprinkle a little bit of salt on top of it as well. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. This is Tish with Cooking with Colors. Tish just doing what I do, and I am sweating already. I've been doing a lot of things today, and now I am making my sweet potato yeast rolls. Sweet potato yeast rolls, dinner rolls. I love these. I made them last year. When I had sweet potato came in, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they are so good. I did freeze some, but I'm going to make some more for the house and to share and to give out to others. So I have my recipe here. This is the recipe I used last time. I did make some adjustments on it. 4 teaspoons honey, make it sweeter than 2 teaspoons. So I probably adjusted to that based on maybe. I still got some sauces up here I have to put away. I'll put those away first. Let me see. Do I need any? No, I need unsalted butter, and I thought I did that. So let me move some of the things I have here for another recipe. I'm gonna set that over here, and I do have unsalted butter right here. I bought some salted butter, and these go in the refrigerator. Okay, so we're gonna get started on this sweet potato rolls, and I know I have not been in the kitchen cooking with you all in a while. I have been cooking and then showing you my finished products or doing an overlap voice over. And remove these. A lot of cleanup. I did a lot of cleanup in the kitchen. I got some sweet potatoes in the oven baking to be able to make some sweet potato turnovers. And I already did sweet potato curry before. I'm going to look in there and see what else I can make with my sweet potatoes and storing them up. So I'm going to leave this cabbage up here. Now, I do have a cabbage up here and some onions. Matter of fact, let me put it in a bowl. That's why I put this bowl up here. So I can get my cabbage, because I'm going to cook cabbage today. And I have some, what's it called? So hot smoke Roger Wood sausage is that I'm going to put in with it, maybe, and maybe not, based on my husband. Might not. So I'm going to cook some cabbage and with some yellow rice. Cabbage with some, some more veggies in it. I don't know. I'll see what else I'll put. Now, what I'm doing, I was getting out all the ingredients I needed, the things I have to do, the milk already pre-measured. I'm going to move this over just a little bit, my little work table right there. So I got all the things that I will need out. And I'm looking at my recipes already posted. So right now, they tell me about the sweet potato. Already got them cooked. They're already done. They tell me to put those in a food processor or blender or mash them well with no lumps are remaining. You should have about 230 grams of sweet potato. I'm not going through that, but I do have some sweet potatoes right here, and I will adjust as I need to with the other ingredients based on if I have put too much sweet potato or too less of sweet potato. Let me put this over here, plug this in right here. Hopefully I don't knock it down. Then I say I hope I don't knock it down. Well, I knocked it down anyway. My herb section. I'll leave that one. So I'll sit this right here. And this is my food processor. I have my milk right here measured out. I didn't want to put the other milk back in yet because I didn't know if I would need that. So I'm going to set this on the table over here. So I'm going to drop some of these sweet potatoes that's already been, I baked my sweet potatoes to keep the sweetness and all the nutrients, because when you boil them, it goes out into the water. So what I'm doing, put this in here, and I think this should be enough. This is yielding 15 rolls, and they say about 1 medium sweet potato, so I know I got more than 1 sweet potato in here. And I am going to blend these, and this will be another batch, or I can use this for my sweet potato turnovers. So I'm going to put this to the side too. Get the top to it. And the thing, it just said mix this. And I could have did this in a blender. There you go. In my blender, but I didn't, because I'm going to use my blender to mix the rest of the stuff. So I'm going to pause it. Creamy already. Looking good too. I know it smells good. Get my spoon. Oh yeah. That's nice and creamy. Fresh sweet potatoes is so good. I'm gonna wash this off. Along with the sweet potato, I'm gonna make some honey butter. The one that you get the Texas Roadhouse honey butter. I'll make that also to go with some of these. Alright, I think that should be good. I'm gonna leave that. Take this off here. And I'm going to move this because I don't need this anymore for right now. Put this on the table over here. And now, what I'm going to do, I'm clean this off just a little bit. So what I'm going to do next, it says to, once you combine that, put this aside, combine the buttermilk, butter, egg, honey, yeast, and sweet potato in a bowl in the standard mixer. Okay, so my buttermilk, which they say you can use milk. I'm using whole milk. Butter. They say my butter need to be. Oh, I need 2 whole eggs. I didn't give a 1 out. I got it right here. And the 1 was for the other thing. So I'm getting 2 large eggs, and I'm gonna have to slightly beat those. So I have a bowl over here. I could put it in here because I don't think I need this. So I'm going to go ahead and crack my eggs. Put it in here. Sit that down there. Put it in here. Okay. And then I'm going to move this up just a little bit so you can see what's going on. And I'm going to bring it down. There you go. And just a little more. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and whip those. Beat it eggs, lightly beat it. That's good. That means you don't want too much of the beat going down. Okay. Put this in here. Got that done. And they said also egg butter. So right up here, unsalted butter melted 4 tablespoons. So I need to put a bowl I need to melt my butter in the microwave. And I need to get the 4 tablespoons. So I'm looking at my butter unsalted. Tablespoon 1, 2, 3, 4 tablespoons. So I'm gonna go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. That knife do not have no edges on. This one do. There you go. So this butter right here, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna do this. Try to put that right on top. Hopefully it won't pop. Melt it in the microwave. And start it up. Okay, so now after that, they say you need egg, honey. How much honey? They say I need 2 tablespoons. Yeast. I got my yeast. Sweet potato in the bowl. Add salt. 2 tablespoons of flour. My salt is right there. Honey. And it was something else I saw up here. I needed eggs, honey, sweet potato, yeast. That was a yeast pack. So I make sure I add that with the milk. So they didn't say combine. They didn't say to have the yeast rise yet. So I don't know. So hopefully this is the one I used last year and I didn't do that. So we'll see what happened with this one. I don't think I did. I didn't add no extra thing on here saying I did it. So the butter is melted. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit there to the side. And I am going to sift my flour because I found out when you do that, it works out better. I hope I have enough bread flour. I've never used some self-rising flour too. Okay, here, over. Here, that's 1. Say I need 4. That's 2. All right, I rate just enough too. That's 3. And as I put it in there, I can just go back and use it. Now it's going to be light and fluffy. So what I'm going to do, I know it's 4 when I start up, but once you do the light and fluffy, it probably won't be 4. Probably more. See, can I get some more flour in this thing? Okay. That's 4. Now the next thing is telling me how many cups of flour. It'd be 4 and 3/4 cup of bread flour. Okay, so I stick this and measure 3/4. That's probably the rest of this. All right, so I gotta get some more bread flour. Usually I use self-rising flour anyway. So, and I'm always making a mess. This flour be everywhere, but it's all good. That's part of baking. Part of baking. Let me wipe my hands off. Clean up the kitchen a little bit. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to sift my flour so it can be nice and fluffy. And bread flour is already sifted, but I like to do a double sift. And all my flours, if I'm baking, to make fluffy and airy. All right, that's it. I got a little more in there. There we go. All right, that looked good. So now I'm gonna set that to the side. And it's supposed to be 4 and 3 cups. So as I need the flour, it's already sifted. So now what we're gonna do is I got everything I needed. I'm gonna go back and see what it said. Combine the buttermilk or the milk, butter, eggs, honey, and yeast. So I'm gonna move my camera over and let you see the rest. So now I'm gonna start with my mixing with my KitchenAid. Bring it up some. Okay, so everything is good in here. I am going to start with what it tells me to do first. They say mix the buttermilk, which is my milk. I have my cup of milk right here. Put that inside of here. 1 cup already measured out. Cup of milk. Butter. Got my butter. Eggs. I was so surprised the last time. I was thankful and surprised that my rolls turned out so wonderful last time. And I made double. I just kept making them because it was coming natural. And I was like, okay. Now they send to honey, 2 tablespoons. So I'm just going to pour some in here. Should be 1 and 2. Put this in here. And it's going to be 4. We'll mix this. Add a little bit more honey. Okay, that should be 4. And yeast. Let's mix. Stop. Add the yeast. Let's see how this turns out. One pack of yeast. Hopefully it works out well. Okay. Mix. Okay. Yeast. One mix. We'll add salt a little bit. Then start adding the flour. Okay. Yep. And that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna mix that for a minute. Okay. They say how long. They say mix it. So I mix it. Mix it and incorporate it together. See if it's incorporated. It is. Oh, you can see it. I think you can see it. Pull my mix it up just a little bit. It's incorporated. So the next time I start adding this sweet potato. Take this off for a second. So I can get in the bowl. Tastes so good. Creamy sweet potato. They look so yummy. So yummy. Bright and beautiful colors. Yeah. Okay, so now we'll put the mixer back on. Have me a little sweet potato snack. And then mix together. We'll add salt. And 2 cups of flour after I mix some. Mixing it all up. See how it's incorporating? Looking good too. Let it incorporate. Then I'm gonna add the salt. And it tells me how much salt I'm supposed to add. 1.5 teaspoons. Let me see my teaspoons. That's a teaspoon. So 1.5 teaspoons. Only cover up 1. Put it off. Lift it up. Do 1. And it said 1/2. So I'm gonna just eyeball it. Okay, hopefully that should be good. Mix it some more. Mix it down. I have a spoon right here. I'm using that. Give me a spoon. Put it off for a second, and I'm gonna start adding my flour in just a minute. Want to make sure everything is incorporated down together. So, and it said salt, then start adding cups of flour. So I need to add 2 cups first. It's already sifted. Start adding flour. So we'll cut it off, lift it up, a little bit at a time. Okay. It said once I have added the 2 cups of flour, stirred it roughly. That's 1 cup. 2 cups. Then I'm going to change it to the dough hook. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and scrape the sides down. Uh-oh, don't you move. Okay. Now go back. Close that up. Okay, so now it's telling me after I did 2 cups of flour and it roughly, until the dough forms a rough, shaggy mass. So that look kind of like shaggy. See? Dough. Hopefully that's it. I hope that's it. It looked like a mix to me, so I might have to add a little bit more flour. Let's see if we can get that mass. There you go. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and change it to a dough hook. I'm going to taste it a little bit. I think I need some more sweetener. Make sure it's right. Okay. You know, this is not added to, you know, this is me doing my little thing. Now, with the dough hook, it tells me to attach the dough hook to the mixer and turn the medium speed and gently add the remaining flour. Knead until mass dough begins to form. Continue kneading on medium speed for 4 to 5 minutes. Smooth it into the ball. So let's go ahead. Put the dough hook on. Back in there. We're going to dough hook. I'm going to start adding more flour. I have a whole lot of flour to add. The dough hook mix on medium low. It's on. Keep adding dough as you need it. Okay. Add more dough, flour. Cut it off, lift it up a little bit. Add more flour. Flour. Getting there. Keep adding flour. Keep adding flour to the mix. Takes a while for this to get incorporated good, and then they're going to start the kneading process. So, I bring you back when the kneading process Now we're in the kneading process, medium-high, for approximately 4 to 5 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer for 4 minutes. And I'm going to let it knead. Bring you back once I'm ready to turn it onto the table and get ready to do the next part. The minutes ran up and it's time to throw it on here. And I notice it's very sticky. I remember that last time. I couldn't remember, did I put too much, didn't have enough flour in or what. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to just throw some flour in here and pull it back, so I can get it out of here. It's supposed to be tacky, so that's what it's saying. But if it's too hard to work with, it said add something to it to help you work with it. So I'm gonna have to knead it. There you go. Woo. Okay, so move this jar. Flour, real soft too. So let me make sure I'm doing it correctly, because I haven't made it since last year. A lot of times I think I need to make things more often so I can remember what I did differently to make it better the next time around. Okay. So let me see. So what I'm going to do, try to get into that ball they tell me to get into. It's very doable, but it's sticky. Because I think it's with that sweet potato. So I'm just flouring it up. Make sure that I can handle it. So what I'm going to do, they didn't say anything about kneading it. Just try to all right. Cuffing it. Oh, I'm breaking apart. Air pockets in it. Okay, see about doing it. There you go. Cuffing it. Okay. So I got it in a bowl, and I'm gonna put it in one of those bowls. Make sure I got. There you go. All right. More flour. So I mean, I didn't put enough flour in it, must be, because it's already been kneaded for my mixing bowl. All right. There you go. That seems like it's getting much better. All right. All right, so that's good. What I'm going to oil in it. I have some of this olive oil here. I'm just gonna rough that around. I don't have any spray. I do have the baking spray, but I don't want that. So make sure the olive oil is all around here. Okay, so I'm gonna take this. Make it a little butt hole down there. And that's it. And I'm going to let it rise. And they said put it in a warm spot so it can double in size. It's already big. I should have put it in a bigger bowl than that. I don't know. The roll should be good. And I'm going to cover it. Put me some plastic wrap over it. Cover it for 45 minutes to an hour in a warm spot. So I'm gonna put a cloth over too. And my stove is warm because I'm using it for my sweet potatoes. Okay, there you go. And I'll put a towel over top of it and allow it to do what it do. That's it. And I'll set it over here, up here on this warmer on the stove, and allow it to be in a warm place for about 1 hour. So let me put my timer on. I have an hour started, and that's it. Well, I'm back and we are going to finish up with this sweet potato rolls. As you can see, I left it on the stove. I put it for 15 more minutes. When it was after an hour, it still haven't rise. By the time I came back 20 minutes or 25 minutes later, looked at it, I noticed this thing had doubled over in size. So, yes. Well, it's ready. We know it's ready. The recipe does not call for doing it again. It doesn't call for you to let it rise again. It only says to rise at one time, put it in the pan, and let it go. But in my, punch it in. There you go. So, but my experience that you need to yeast rolls and rolls that's rise and stuff, you know, those yeast rolls, we always let it double rise again once you have formed the rolls. So I'm used to letting it go again, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, not going to knead it, just going to roll it up. Yeah, there you go. Put in one of them rolls. And I'm going to make sure I got enough flour. And I'm going to cut it. There you go. I'm going to cut it in half. Because I have to make at least 15. That's what it said it calls for this portion. Not for sure, because sometimes you give it take. And I'm going to roll it up in a bread loaf shape. And then I'm going to cut it in half. And I'm going to work on one side. Cut. I'm going to wrap this back up. Make sure I got some more flour here. I'm going to put some wrapping paper over it because I don't want it to dry out. It's very moist and still a little tacky. So I am making sure this is going to be secure so it won't dry out. So let me get a little bit more flour, and we're going to make sure this is working. So let's see, can we put a little bit more flour in this bowl, because I don't work with this big jar on my working counter. Okay. Okay, so got more flour here, and I'm going to, okay, roll it back into a loaf roll again. See? Make sure I got a little more flour. Roll it back into the loaf roll again. Stretch it out. Because what I want to do is make sure I can get some cuts in here. So, all right. Looking good. It's a real soft bread. It's real soft. This roll thing is real soft. So let's start cutting the middle. One here. Middle. How to go middle, middle, down, down. Hope I got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This could be 8. I'm gonna cut them right here. Okay. So with these, I'm gonna go ahead and roll it up in a pan. I'm gonna use this one right here. I'm gonna put a spray. I have this spray, this baking spray, and I think I'm gonna use that at the bottom. I was gonna put parchment paper on the bottom and do it that way I can. But I think I'm gonna do it this way. So I'm gonna just use it for baking. So I'm gonna spray my bottom of my pan real good. I'm gonna let that set, and then I'm gonna start shaping my rolls. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring it into a little ball, tuck them in, tuck, tuck, pinch it in, pinch it in, pinch it in, make it to a little ball, pinch it in, make it to a little ball. I'm gonna set it like that. This one, pinch, pinch, pinch it in, 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 and you twist it from the back end, and you want to have a round ball right there. Get another one. So I'm gonna pinch it in. Do the same thing for each one. I'm pinching it in. Feel a little tacky still. Get a little more flour on it. Pinch it in, and I'm gonna see, make it into a little ball. Put 3 right here. Pinch it in. These are little big ones. Seem like a little bigger. So pinch it in. Pinch it in. Twist it. A little pinch it. Pinch it. So it will make a little ball crispy. And then I have this like that, and look like a little ball. Those done, and I'm gonna work on the next set. Unravel it. Okay. Now I can put that over there. Sprinkle a little bit of flour on top. Okay. So now let me roll this. I don't want it to dry out, but I want it to be able to be workable. You know, we want it to be workable. Okay. Tuck the ends, make it into a loaf. Tuck the ends, make it into a loaf. See, I wonder, is this the same way you would make it as a bread, set in rolls? You know, I gotta look on that. Okay, middle, middle, cut again, middle, 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 and cut that again, and cut this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and see any more of them? Maybe this look kind of big. I can cut a piece off of here and cut a piece off of here. Put them two together. I think everything else looks good. So, got all these ready to roll. Here goes some. Do this one, and I'm gonna just tuck, tuck, tuck. There you go. That's good. Now what I'm going to do is let it rise again. I get some more saran wrap. Put another thing over top of it. Rag on it. I think I have one. Use the same one I had. Once I can get this over top of it. And let it rise again. About 30 more minutes. Should be able to rise up. And then we'll put an egg wash on it. All right. That didn't work. Okay, so I'm gonna have to get a bigger piece of, I'm not gonna, yeah. That side worked good, so I'm gonna have to get a bigger piece of saran wraps, cling wrap, so it can cover everything. Okay, from here, I didn't wipe my hands for one thing. All right, there you go. So now, after this, I will cover it up again with this and let it rise again on the stove. Move all of this. I was working on sweet potatoes. Let it rise again and work on my next pan. I got a couple more little pans and put those in there. So let me try this one. Spray it. And we're gonna wrap up these rolls, these yeast rolls. Call them yeast rolls because they say dinner rolls, but I call them yeast rolls because we put yeast in them and we had to let them rise. All right, let's get this together. All right. It's looking good. I mean, it feels like the same thing it was last year. The texture feels the same. It's yellow. That was something different. But I taste them. I said, oh my goodness, they're so soft. They taste so good and everything. It was during the holidays I made these. I think it was. I'm not for sure. It might have been, because that's when I got the sweet potatoes. Somebody gave me sweet potatoes. I didn't have any. And I saw a recipe out of the blue. And I said, I wonder if you can do sweet potato bread with that. Not bread. Oh, I was doing sweet potato bread. And then I said, I wonder if you could do rolls. So I went from bread to rolls. So. See? Each rise. All right, that. Okay, so now I'm gonna get another rag and put this right on top. And I'm gonna let this rise too. So I'm gonna put this over here on the back side of the stove where the heat it's going to be. And I'm going to set my timer for about 40 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, do 30 minutes. And after that, we're going to see how it turns out. And we're going to egg wash it and add some kosher, some coarse, not kosher, coarse Himalayan salt right on top of it. Okay, so I'm going to clean. Well, I had to do a voiceover for this part of the video because the family is in the home and they are watching a movie. So I wanted to show you after the sweet potato yeast rolls has rise, how they look so beautiful and fluffy. Oh my goodness, they look so awesome. Now I am putting an egg wash over top of it, and to have it that light brown crisp look when it comes out the oven. It's a great thing to do to put over top of your yeast rolls. But I love the way they had really double in size. They look so awesome, look so fluffy and awesome. And now I'm gonna put some coarse Himalayan salt on top of it. Oh, that made it taste so good once it came out the oven. Oh my goodness. If you haven't tried to make sweet potato yeast rolls, please do so, because they are so yummy, especially during the holidays. I don't want to say just do it during the holidays, because you could do it any time of the season, because they are delicious anytime. And also you can also make them and store them up and eat them later. You know, put it in the freezer. Do your vacuum sealer and just seal it up, or put it in a regular freezer bag and then have them from later. But they are delicious, good with any type of meal. They have this great taste, a different taste than regular yeast rolls, but they are very soft and delicious. And I think the sweet potatoes make it real soft, and they got that sweet potato color. So if you're looking for something different, it reminds me of a potato bread. You know, the potato bread, when you get the sliced bread from the store, potato bread, that's how soft it is. Very delicious. So now I'm going to just clean up the area and everything and wait for the rolls to get done so I can show you the finished product. So you know me, clean as you go. It's time to clean up. All right. As you can see, those yeast rolls, sweet potato yeast rolls, are done. Look how golden brown, how yellowish brown they are. Oh my goodness, and they're hot too. They're just coming out the oven, but I'm telling you, they're not hard. They're nice and soft. Oh my God, and buttery. You see how that egg wash make it so golden brown on top, and that crisp of that salt, the flakes of that salt just glycerin on top of them. Oh my goodness, they was delicious. And I had to bless my family and some other with some honey butter that I made to go along with it. So, but I'm telling you, was awesome, and it was so delicious. So I'm just telling you, if you have never made them, please try to make them. I will link the recipe at the bottom, and also of the honey butters. No, just this, because I think I have another video for the honey butter for that. But I might link it down here as well, so you can have both of them, just in case I might forget to put it on the other one. But I like to butter it up with a stick of butter like my mom used to do. Take that, open it up, and just roll it right on top of the biscuits or the rolls. And that's old school. My grandma and my mom did the same thing. Then put a tea towel over top of them. Ready to eat now. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so you won't miss any of the videos that comes up. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being a subscriber and just being a part of this channel. All right. Thank you. Be blessed and have a wonderful evening.